What's up guys, it's Flamon from Flamon Miniatures, and today I have for you a video tutorial about my painting technique. For painting my miniatures I'm using Winsor Newton's US7 size 2 brushes and wet palette. This one is from Redgrass and I'm pretty happy with it. Here you can see colors that I will use for painting the shield of my Chaos Warrior from Slaves to Darkness, Hagnar's Ravengers, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And yeah, when I'm using my technique, I can paint with side of my brush, that's what you just saw, or tip of my brush, and I'm painting tiny scratches with it. And the further I go away from a place that's supposed to have a lot of color, the more delicate scratches I create, because when I barely touch the surface of my miniature with the tip of my brush, then I'm leaving very small amount of paint. When I touch it strongly, like you can see right now, then I'm leaving bigger amount of paint. And like you could see, I'm using paint that is a bit more... It depends on your preferences. I'm using more diluted paint, but when I'm painting tiny scratches, they are still very visible because they are very thin and small. And good thing is that they are drying very quickly. This is basically dried out already, what you saw, so I can apply a lot of them. And when I need to have a pointy end, I'm basically trying to sharpen tip of my brush on a piece of paper, just like you saw it right now. I'm moving paper along the brush to create more spiky tip. It's my current brush is pretty worn out. I need new brushes, but they used to be better, and often I need to order a few to get one that is really good. Usually like another is not perfect. So when I'm creating smooth color transitions on my miniatures, I'm painting tiny stripes with the color from the brighter layer around the borders of the brighter and the darker layer. And right now I'm using a color that is a bit darker than the brightest layer that you can see here. It's a mixture of the Luftwaffe uniform, World War II, and neutral gray. And wow, big zoom. And as you can see now, I'm painting tiny scratches on the edges of it, and I'm trying to create smooth transition between this layer and the pure Luftwaffe uniform layer. So I'm painting very gently. The further I go to the area of Luftwaffe uniform, the more gentle are my touches. I'm trying to barely touch the surface of the miniature there, because thanks to that I'm leaving very tiny and pretty transparent stripes that are not visible when you have the miniature in your hands. Right now and the layer of Luftwaffe uniform disappeared a lot, but now I'm taking this color, just this Luftwaffe uniform pure, and now I'm painting with it stripes on the borders of this layer. So as you can see, once again, it's all about painting tiny delicate scratches. They are drying almost instantly, so I can apply a lot of them. And the more I dilute paint, the more of paint I need to remove in a piece of paper, but the more transparent stripes I leave, and the more transparent stripes, the more delicate transitions I can create. And here I am creating brighter mixture of these colors. On the left you can see the mixture of Luftwaffe uniform and neutral London grey, I'm sorry, and here I'm creating brighter one because the main reflection is brighter, so I need to make it brighter. And here you can see the border between because the brightest areas are painted with this mixture. I just made a mistake. But now you can, there's no problem, it's always you can repaint things, not problem at all. So now as you can see, I created the color from the brightest layer, and now I'm painting tiny stripes on the borders of this. And this is absolutely not a problem. As you can see, I'm creating now smooth transition between this mixture and the earlier mixture that was a bit darker. The thing is that sometimes when I'm working on creating these layers, I'm not using only color from the brighter layer. Sometimes I'm creating mid-tones between them. Like you can see, I can just give different percentages of colors to have a smaller color difference between them. Like you know, just another mid-tone. Like here, the layer is painted with the mix of Luftwaffe uniform 50% and 50% of light gray. And I could, between them, also create another mixture when I would have it brighter. And it would be... no, if that would be brighter, that would be not useful. I'm sorry, I got mixed up. The thing is that I can make different percentages for stuff to create another mid-tones between the mid-tones, and then it goes all very smooth. The only thing is that it takes even more time. But when I'm painting in this way, where I'm creating layers of colors and I'm later creating smooth transitions between them, I have it allows me to have the whole composition planned out before working on all of this. And thanks to that, I'm not getting lost with this, where I want to have a shadow and when I want to have reflection and how big I want them to be, because it's much easier to plan everything out in this way and later think about creating smooth transitions than focusing on creating smooth transitions too much. It's like when you are drawing, it's good to create first sketch as messy as you can, to rather figure out the whole idea and where you want to have something more or less. Because if you will start with making good quality lines and details, then you will most definitely lose the whole composition and think what's supposed to be where and how anatomy should work. So this works in the same way here. I create sketch, I see if the shadows and reflections are in the right places, and then I create smooth transitions between them. Thanks to that, I'm not losing anything in the process. Everything is placed exactly where I want them to be. And this is my process. So it's painting. So I'm working a little bit like a printer, because I'm creating tiny details that are creating the whole structure. It's like pixels that are creating a graphic. This is, yeah, so this is like it. It's the same, it's a similar process that you have when you are painting with color pencils. If you want to have more color, you push your color pencil harder. If you want to create very delicate color, then you barely scratch the surface. And this is the last detail. Sometimes I also mix the glaze technique with my technique. Right now I'm using very diluted black paint, and I'm painting with side of the tip of my brush very tiny stripes on the edges of the darkest layer that was here. And thanks to this, I'm making it darker, but I'm applying it once again stripe by stripe, so I have a full control over it, and it's like very precise glaze technique. And this is how it looks. I hope you like how it works. I hope now you will better understand how my technique works, and that you will try it out on your miniatures. And don't forget to check out my other tutorials. Thank you very much for your support, and see you on the next tutorial. Bye!